Ever since I can remember, we've been fighting canker disease. We called it eutypa when I was a little guy, but it's been around as long as I remember.
Grapevine canker diseases are major. They just take perfectly healthy vineyards and they die, they kill them. It's a problem in every vineyard. So if they're paying attention at all, it's out there. And a lot of times they don't see it in a younger vineyard because it gets covered up by this vigorous new young growth. But any vineyard over 10, 11, 12 years old, it's not hard to find. And by the time the vineyard gets to be 15 or 18 or 20 years old, you can't ignore it anymore. I think when growers think about grapevine trunk diseases, mostly what we're thinking is, how do we kick this can down the road? We know it's out there. I have a huge investment out there, so the longer I can keep this vineyard productive, I have to not only recapture investment, but I can tell you the production just continues to drop off until it just doesn't pay to farm those vineyards anymore.
The effect is the financial number. We have to grow so much per acre to justify keeping that vineyard in. And those canker diseases obviously take away from our yields. If we got cordons that are starting to die, our yield isn't the same. The pounds of fruit coming off that vine is not the same. So we look at, are we still profitable? Are we breaking even? Or are we losing money? We try and use our tools that are out there to prevent it as long as we can, but at some point, it's inevitable. You're probably gonna have it in your vineyard. Early indicators of the disease in the vineyard, dead spurs, discoloration of leaves. As you get spurs dying, say a spur's half dead, you'll see leaves that got yellows and orange colors to them. That's usually a good indicator. You look over to the next spur and it's alive or half alive, and then the third one over is alive. When you start seeing that, if you're not cutting stuff out of your vineyard, at some point that moves on down into the trunks. And if you wait long enough, that vine is done because you can't cut it off low enough. When we cut that stuff off, all we're doing is prolonging the vineyard in the past. We're hoping that rime allows us to not have to cut on those vines as early as we've done in the past.
We were sitting down talking about what our plans were, what materials we were going to use for the following season and where we were going to place them, and the subject of rime came up. And I was thinking I want them to try this for powdery mildew control because I'd seen some really good things. But God bless Ernie and Jeff, they said, wait a minute, we're looking at this wrong. We don't have a complete handle on our canker disease program. We can kind of offset some of the cost of the rime applications by dropping out some dusting sulfur applications. And basically, we've improved our canker disease program with very little extra expense. And it made great sense. And now we're doing that on basically every acre they farm.
In the 2 years that I've been using it, I can see better color in the vines. Everything looks better. So that right there makes me think that the vine is much healthier. And I can only give that credit to the rime because everything else it has held constant for a number of years with the products that we've been using. Up until us not having rime, we'd throw a couple dustings on and put an air blast spray in for our bloom. With rime, us using it the last 2 years, we've came in at 3 inches of growth on average and put a rime application in. This is our first rime application. That rime application pretty much took us to our first fungicide air blast application. We went 14 days on the whites and applied another rime application. On the reds, we took it 3 weeks and applied another rime application. Now with the rime, we cut out our dusting again. There's 2 dustings that aren't there on the whites and 3 dustings on the red.
Managing grapevine trunk diseases, the key is treat early. Treat early, treat often. When we have a young vineyard, just from year 1, it's on a treatment program because the disease starts that early. And the whole key to managing canker diseases is to keep the canker population as low as possible, as long as possible. And the way we do that is start early.
I think this is a tool that needs to be used from the very beginning. I think a field that has symptoms of canker diseases, doing post sprays like we're doing, and also incorporating the rime in, yes, you're going to prolong a vineyard